Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to be making a wood round. It's a multicolor wood sign, and I'm going to be using the Starmask Stencil vinyl for the first time, and I will share with you guys kind of how it went. And so I started off by just getting it cut, and yes, I got my Cameo 4 Pro to work. I know a lot of you that have been watching me know I've been having issues with it, but somehow, some way I updated the firmware and it's been working. Well, at least it worked for this video. So I started off by putting some matte polyacrylic on the wood round and letting it dry thoroughly. So weeding the Starmask was very easy, very seamless. I had no problems at all. I just cut it at the regular vinyl settings that my machine had, and it weeded very nicely. So with any sign you make, you're going to want to reverse weed, so that is what I did. And this one's a little bit different because it's going to be multiple colors, so I couldn't weed out all of the parts or it would not work. So I was going to have to hand paint a bunch of it. So next I'm going to put it on my AT65 transfer tape. Once your sign is fully dried from the polyacrylic, you're going to want to then put your stencil on your sign. So it went on very easily. I had no issues with it. It didn't stick on too rough, but once it's down, it's going to stay down pretty much on certain parts. So just make sure if you can't do it this way, you do the hinge method, which is leaving the backing on and putting tape in the middle. But I just put it on and got it centered, and it went on very well. And then making sure you adhere extremely well to your sign after this. This will prevent bleeding. I wanted to also mention that the texture of this vinyl, it's thinner than the other aura mask that I normally use, and I like it because it gives you more like movability, and it's very it just feels like it goes onto the surface better. It just morphs, I don't know if that's the right word, but it kind of like morphs into the wood better, so it seemed like I had a better coverage. Next, I went and took my matte polyacrylic and went back over the stencil again. This will just kind of help prevent bleeding. You do not have to do this. I do this with some signs, and it definitely does work very well, but I've noticed you need the matte polyacrylic. Anything that is semi-gloss or has a shine can sometimes be a little bit stretchy and have problems. So next I took my white, well, it was kind of an off-white, and then put it over the stencil lightly, and I'm going to go over this several coats. I think I ended up doing 2 coats total, and all I had in red was apple barrel, and you guys know that I like my folk art paint, so I had to do red for the apple barrel, and you'll notice I had to go over many more coats with the red to get it to not show through, but the folk art I only had to do 2 coats. Okay, next it was time to take the stencil off, and oh my goodness, the lines were so crisp, so clean, no bleeds whatsoever. It came out so clean. And the trick to this, guys, is obviously the stencil vinyl was amazing. I definitely highly recommend it so far. and secondly, the paint and making sure that your wood is sanded. So I did all of these things, and obviously look at those crisp lines. And now down here, the watermelon, I did have to hand paint a bunch of it, which I kind of wish I would have gone back and put more stencils on there, just because it would have made it a little bit easier, a little bit cleaner. But it is what it is, and I just wanted to get it done. I was really excited to get it put on my door for this summer. And so I did hand paint all of these little pieces on. I kind of just followed the lines. So when you're doing a multicolor sign, you can do it either way. You can hand paint it, and I would recommend finding a smaller paintbrush to kind of get into those details, or you can take another stencil from your machine and put it back over the paint and do it that way. The only thing you run into that with is just making sure your paint is cured before you put another stencil on top of it, because you don't want it to peel your paint off. So then I just took the white and I went and did the other part of the watermelon and kind of went over this 2 times as well. So right here at the end of the watermelon, I decided to kind of take my brush and make it a little bit textured, because watermelon is kind of a textured fruit. I don't know if I really would have done that again, but you know, I was trying to make it look artistic, okay? So after I did that, it was all done after I did all of my touch-ups. And here is how the sign turned out. I love it. I think it's so cute for summertime, and the lines turned out so clean, and I'm obsessed with it. It was nighttime, so I looked down and found a little friend, you know, staring at me. Kind of scared me a little bit. But as you can see up close, there was no bleeding. The lines turned out very crisp and clean, so I highly recommend the Starmask Stencil Vinyl, guys, for real. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.